on to our next topic, the younger generations, as you know, also feel very concerned by the data issues that are central to their lives as citizens, and they have expressed high expectations from public authorities, cities, and companies, hoping they will act with them and speed things up. I'm joined by Laureen Calcat, a student at Sciences Po. Hello, welcome.
Hello, thanks.
And Bruno Maltor, founder of Périples and travel blogger.
Yes, hi.
It's great to have you both. So I have lots of questions for you. But before that, let's try to understand the high expectations expressed by the Generation Z in the Moving On study conducted with Kantar to act hand in hand with mobility players. Moving On actually gave them the floor to discuss their aspirations with the CEOs of Michelin and Microsoft France. A look back at the highlights of the Hemicycle meeting.
Cette façon immédiate d'accéder à une application, l'app, le concept d'app, a fait que je peux atteindre tout très rapidement. Et donc maintenant, les consommateurs, ils veulent avoir de l'information, de la formation, du renseignement, des solutions, on va parler de mobilité, des solutions de mobilité, dans leurs mains.
On a envie d'être efficace dans la vie de tous les jours, on doit aller au travail, on doit se rendre quelque part, on a peur d'être en retard. Là, c'est vrai que le facteur temps est très important.
Avec toutes les applications de mobilité à portée de main, ils sont extrêmement multimodaux.
Ils sont relativement sensibles. Dès ce jeune âge, ils comprennent bien qu'en général, quand un service est gratuit, donc que ce soit un service de mobilité, que c'est eux le produit.
Responsabilité, oui. Une mobilité durable, oui, mais pas au prix de notre vie, de l'expérience et de la jeunesse.
C'est grâce à des comportements de cette nouvelle génération que les industriels doivent concevoir des nouveaux produits et des nouveaux services qui vont être plébiscités par la nouvelle génération. Rien n'empêche aux entreprises de Moving On de réfléchir à qu'est-ce qu'on propose.
And you can, of course, watch the full program Les Rencontres de l'Hémicycle on Moving On's YouTube channel. But right now, a new question springs to mind after the various discussions we've had during this program today. In the digital age, how does the next generation view these new mobility services? Is it the answer to their urban mobility aspirations? So let's hear what some of them have to say. So now turning to you guys, so what do you think of the discussions probably and the ideas that we've heard today so far during this program? Laureen, do you actually, recognize yourselves in the words? Does this resonate to you?
Well, I was very interested by the community of interest 3 cities, Boston, Montreal, and Lyon, because they were talking about curbside management. Mm-hmm. And actually nowadays we have more and more modes of transportation in the street, but we still have the same space by definition. And I am quite shocked at how the space is actually shared in a city like Paris. Mm-hmm. Actually, the car, which is, I have to say, the least efficient way for a human being to be transported, be it energy-wise or even speed-wise, is the queen of the city still nowadays. Mm-hmm. And I really think that space should be better shared between cars, but also between other modes of transportation, pedestrians, soft mobility.
So how does this resonate to you, Bruno?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it depends of the cities. Oh, yeah, of course. It depends where you're going. Like, I'm lucky enough that I traveled kind of everywhere in the world. I still think that it's getting better and better in Europe. We have more good options to travel today. But if you go to the US, for instance, it's much harder. And the queen is definitely more and more the car.
Because the reality is different.
Yeah, it's even harder in the US to travel if you don't have a car than in Europe, for instance. So it's getting better, even if there is lots of work to be done still. But it's getting better, I think.
So one of the topics that we spoke about earlier is also the new MaaS solution. So the Generation Z is actually the truly first multimodal generation. It's new. So do you think these solutions actually meet your expectations? Maybe Laureen first.
Yeah, your mask is off. Go on.
I took it off, sorry. I think it really simplifies my life. Honestly, I always use mobility apps to buy tickets, train tickets, to go somewhere. I use like the maps, etc. However, I think we need to be cautious of maybe 4 main points. So to me, the first one is when simplification becomes complexification. If all these apps and these services are not rationalized enough. So I think like this is a point to have in mind. Second, we still need to be careful of the social and environmental impacts of these mobility services, because if you take Uber, the example, you can see that there are social problems, but also environmental problems. These are cars that pollute. Maybe the third point that I want to make is that we also need to include people who are not as digital natives as we are. So mobility as a service isn't the solution for everyone.
Yeah.
Of course, for everyone and everything. And yeah, that's it.
Pretty much.
I think there is still missing one app that can sum it up everything. You are going on Uber, you are going on Lime, you are going on
just having
Velib,
one platform.
It's still missing. SNCF is trying to do that. Actually, they are changing their name, We SNCF, to SNCF Connect in the next week. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But there is still missing something that is making it easier.
Bruno, that's a brilliant idea.
That's not mine.
Yeah, but what do you see? What does this platform look like?
My paradise would be that there is one platform that can allow me to find the easy way to go from point A to point B, even if I'm in a city, of course, but it could be everywhere in the world that there is one platform that allows me to go anywhere, even if it's 5 minutes from my spot, but even if it's 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and I can find all the different options, train, night train, bus, moonwalk if you want.
Yeah.
But there is still missing this platform, so I hope it's gonna happen soon. It's gonna arrive soon, but that's the dream that I would have, to have only one app, one website, one something that allows me to go from point A to point B in an easy way.
So, are you ready to engage with the leaders
with such a project?
MaaS? I don't know if you had the opportunity to contribute.
Yeah, of course. It's a huge project in my mind, so why not?
So you travel a lot, Bruno. So what's your feeling about, in some cities you're still very dependent of the car. You can't do without it. You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, as I said it earlier, I used to live in Prague, in Budapest, or in Lisbon, and everywhere I've been in Europe, it's kind of easy to
move around.
To have no car, actually. I'm from Auvergne, and in Auvergne you need a car. But if you go in big cities in Europe, it's pretty easy. But as soon as you leave Europe, you see
it's tricky.
Yeah, it can be chaos. When you travel in so many cities, in Detroit, in the US, for instance, if you don't have a car, it's gonna be a mess for you to travel. So everything I can say is that it really depends on where you're going.
Thank you very much for sharing. Well, thank you for attending this first edition of Moving On Inside. It was great to have you on the set, and looking forward to continue this discussion in the next episode, maybe. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Right, so this is it, ladies and gentlemen, Moving On Inside. This is the first edition, and we would like to thank you all for all your reactions, many of them on social media. So this is the first show. It's a pilot, and don't hesitate to share with us your feedback and comments to redesign, the future episodes, hopefully. I would like to thank all the participants that, were very insightful in their discussions, all the actors of the Moving On communities of interest who offered us today stimulating insights in general. You can, of course, catch all the replays again on the website Moving On Connect by clicking on the Moving On Inside. And the longer versions of many of our debates and discussions, for example, curbside management and data standardization, can also be found on that website. Feel free to navigate and discover other on-demand content. So I look forward to seeing you, hopefully, in 3 months' time for the next episode of Moving On Inside. And in the meantime, stay tuned on Moving On Connect. Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye.